After witnessing a brutal murder, this 12-year-old girl seeks training to become an assassin and avenge her family. Léon has a meeting with a gangster called Maurizio. He wants Léon to pass a message to another criminal who is interfering with his business. Léon takes the man's picture and waits for the perfect time to strike. The man arrives at a hotel and Léon breaks in, eliminating all the man's guard until only he remains. Seeing his men overpowered, the criminal calls the police, but Léon stands behind him with a knife to his throat. The man hangs up the phone and dials Maurizio's number shown to him by Léon. Maurizio asks the man to leave town and never come back. He then tells Léon to make sure the man understands and let him go. After his job is done, Léon returns to his apartment and encounters a young girl called Mathilda Lando. Mathilda lives in a dysfunctional family setting. Her father keeps drugs for corrupt DEA agents. She has a difficult relationship with her mother and sister, but is very affectionate towards her 4-year-old brother. Mathilda greets Léon and asks him not to tell her father that she's smoking. After Léon enters his apartment, Mathilda's father exits the house accompanied by 2 gentlemen, Malky and Stan. Malky asks him whether he has cut some of the drugs he was asked to keep. Mathilda's father says he didn't steal any of the drugs. Stan believes that Mathilda's father didn't steal the drugs, but asks him to find out who did it before noon the next day. Léon spends his days working out and caring for his plant. He also watches a movie in the cinema once in a while. The next morning, Mathilda has an argument with her sister regarding the TV and her sister hits her. Léon sees her outside the apartment with a bloodied nose. Mathilda asks Léon if life is hard for adults, and Léon explains it gets worse. Mathilda is going grocery shopping, so she promises to bring Léon some milk. The peaceful atmosphere is disrupted by Stan and his colleague's arrival. They break into Mathilda's house and eliminate the mother in the bathroom. They shoot Mathilda's sister and finally get to Mathilda's father. Stan tells him that the deadline to find who stole the drugs has passed. Mathilda's father sneakily grabs a weapon to defend himself. He shoots at Stan's men, causing one of them to accidentally kill the little brother. The ambush angers Stan so much that he loses his cool and scares his men when he fires repeatedly at Mathilda's father, even though he's dead. Mathilda gets home and sees the men standing by the door. She sees her father's dead body and hears the thugs say they've killed her little brother. Mathilda keeps calm and continues walking to Léon's apartment. She knocks on the door, begging him to open up. Léon, who's been watching everything through his door's peephole, hesitates for a while but eventually lets her in. He comforts Mathilda over the loss of her family. However, she's not worried about her parents or sister. She is hurt by her little brother's death as he was innocent. Léon tries cheering Mathilda up with a pig puppet but doesn't succeed. He gives her some food and goes to the kitchen to get milk. Mathilda sees Léon's briefcase and opens it to find an assortment of weapons. She asks Léon what he does for a living and he replies he's a cleaner/hitman. Mathilda offers to help Léon with all his work, and in exchange he will teach her how to be a cleaner. She wants to avenge her brother but cannot afford the hefty fee of hiring a cleaner. Léon scoffs at her suggestion, asking her to sleep and see what she thinks in the morning. In the middle of the night, Léon grabs his weapon and walks to Mathilda. He thinks about executing her since this will solve his problems, but he stops himself. The next morning, Léon tells Mathilda to have her breakfast and leave. Mathilda finds out that Léon cannot read. She offers to teach him how to read and do his house chores in exchange for training. She has nowhere to go and reminds Léon that he's responsible for her because he saved her life. Léon seeks out his boss, Tony, and asks for some weapons. He and Mathilda check into a hotel room so she can start learning marksmanship using paintballs. Mathilda starts cleaning the house and teaching Léon how to read and write. Time goes by and Léon trains Mathilda several things. The two spend time working out and Léon ensures Mathilda follows a strict diet. One day, Mathilda suggests that they take a break and do something fun. The two play dress up and have a good time. Mathilda observes how Léon takes care of his plant. She tells him that he should plant it in the ground so it can have roots and grow into something better. As the days pass by, Léon starts getting attached to Mathilda. He asks Tony if he can get some of the money he's earned in his cleaning business. Tony assures him that the money is present, so all Léon has to do is ask for it. At the same time, Mathilda develops a crush on Léon. She tells him her feelings while at the hotel, but he rejects her. Furious, Mathilda tells the hotel receptionist that Léon isn't her father as previously assumed, but her lover. Mathilda then sneaks into her former house when Léon is out and starts looking around, grabbing her brother's doll. She finds some money her father had stashed under one of the floorboards. Suddenly, the door bursts open and Stan walks in with several officers of the police internal affairs unit. He explains that the shooting at the house was in self-defense when Mathilda's father pulled out a weapon. He also tells the officers that they should find him at his office if they have any more questions. After the men leave, Mathilda grabs a taxi and follows them. She learns that Stan is a DEA officer. Léon comes home and finds Mathilda waiting. She gives him the money she found in her house, paying him to avenge her little brother. Léon refuses to do so, wanting Mathilda to forget the past and move on with her life. Their discussion is interrupted by the hotel's receptionist, who kicks them out of the hotel. Since Mathilda is so determined to learn how to be a cleaner, Léon gives in and decides to help her. He takes her to see Tony, explaining that she's a fast learner. The two go to a house for their first hit together. Léon gives Mathilda a few pointers, like to shoot twice and ensure her target is dead. He also warns her against shooting the target's face, since they should be able to recognize him afterwards. Léon doesn't hurt women or children. After her first successful hit, Léon and Mathilda celebrate by having dinner in a fancy restaurant. Mathilda gets drunk and asks Léon for a kiss. However, he refuses her despite her claiming that she's in love with him. The two start going on hits together, perfecting Mathilda's hitman skills. One day, the duo encounters a target armed with a weapon. Léon tells Mathilda that in such cases, they use a grenade to neutralize the target. Léon sees Tony discreetly, telling him that if anything happens to him, Tony should give his money to Mathilda. A few days later, Léon goes on a solo mission, refusing to take Mathilda as he wants her to learn independence and maturity. Mathilda feels betrayed by this, but she quickly comes up with a plan. She starts following Stan and sneaks into his office, disguising herself as a delivery agent. She sees Stan walk into the toilet and follows him. However, she finds Stan waiting for her. Stan wants to know who she is and who has sent her. Mathilda explains that she's an independent contractor here to avenge her little brother's death. Another man comes into the toilet and tells Stan that Malky has been murdered by a hitman. Mathilda realizes that the hitman is Léon and feels indebted to him. Stan takes Mathilda to his office, and the men wonder what she would have done with all the weapons she was carrying. Léon gets home and finds a note from Mathilda explaining her plan to go after Stan. Léon breaks into the DEA office, eliminating the two men guarding Mathilda, and then rescues her. The two reunite and have a lovely evening. Mathilda unsuccessfully tries to seduce Léon. He reveals he had been in love with a girl when he was 18 years old. The two had planned to elope, but the girl's father found out the plan and killed her out of anger. In retaliation, Léon killed her father and traveled to America to become a hitman. Meanwhile, Stan and his men torture Tony into revealing which cleaner had executed Malky. Stan learns of Mathilda's involvement with Léon. He follows her to the apartment. Stan's SWAT team breaks into Léon's apartment and a fierce shootout ensues. Mathilda reunites with Léon and she apologizes for the trouble she's caused. Soon, Léon and Mathilda are trapped in the house as Stan has set the entire police department on them. Léon creates a hole and asks Mathilda to find Tony. Mathilda doesn't want to leave Léon, but he promises that they'll be together soon, confessing he also loves her. Mathilda escapes while the police blow up the apartment. Léon disguises himself as an officer and is rescued by the police. However, Stan sees and recognizes him, causing Léon to flee. Unfortunately, he's cornered and shot by Stan. Before he dies, Léon asks Stan for his identity. Once he reveals it, Léon gives Stan a grenade pin, saying it's for Mathilda. The two men blow up. Mathilda meets with Tony and requests to be hired as a cleaner. Tony shouts at Mathilda, asking her to come to her senses and see how dangerous that life can be. He gives her $100 and advises her to go back to school. Mathilda goes back to school, explaining to the principal everything that had happened. She plants Léon's tree in the schoolyard, saying they will be safe there.